why does the history of Polish Jews matter today? Why does it matter?
Well, it matters a lot to different people for various reasons. It matters something else to Polish Jews, to non-Polish Jews, to non-Jewish Poles, to other Europeans. And I think this is the combination of these various layers of meaning that makes it so exceptional. So for non-Jewish Poles interested, it's an important chapter of the history of this country. And we repeat it again and again that you cannot understand Poland without the history of Polish Jews. For non-Polish Jews, Jews in Israel or Jews in America, wherever they have any Polish Jewish background or not, it's an important part of the Jewish history, of the history of diaspora. And the fact that through at least 200 years, the major part of world Jewry lived in the lands of Poland. This is something that you must know it to understand the history of diaspora. And then at the peak moment of the development of this community, when you have almost 3.5 million Jews in Poland, hundreds of newspapers, of political parties, of synagogues, of Jewish businesses, of Jewish scientists, journalists, artists, singers, comes the catastrophe. So the catastrophe comes from outside, but it happens in a country that had been deeply divided by the new anti-Semitic currents that took hold in the 20th century in Poland. So this is the combination of this incredibly rich history of the Jewish civilization in Poland, and then the catastrophe falling on a country. And that was the catastrophe to the Polish Jewry, first of all, to the world Jewry, to all the Jews. The loss of the Jewish culture in Poland was the loss to all the Jewish diaspora everywhere, and also to Poland. Only when you realize that in the history of small towns where half of the medical doctors, shoemakers, and tailors were Jewish, their cruel disappearance under the German occupation, how consequential it was. So depending on to whom we speak and to whom we present this history, we must stress different aspects of this multi-dimensional past. Most of the visitors, most of the audience of the museum are non-Jewish Poles. So for them, it's a part of their history as history of Poland. But most of the biggest group of foreign visitors are Israelis and Americans. And I suppose many of the American visitors are Jewish Americans. So for many of them, it's a family history. And again, this history is rich enough to tell something to anyone, even to non-Jewish, non-Polish, other Europeans, for whom this is an important component of European history.